Well, hello everybody and welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to be making some biscuits or cookies. Now I'm on a bit of a quest to make something called Royal Scot biscuits. These are a biscuit which were manufactured certainly up until the 70s by McVitie's, and they were really delicious biscuits. A sort of shortbread but slightly darker in colour, and the texture seemed to be a little bit closer than shortbread normally was, but they were very, very tasty. I can't find any recipes anywhere for these, so I thought I'm going to try to recreate them, but I will probably need to have several attempts at doing them. And to start off with, I'm going to be making what I consider to be the perfect shortbread biscuit, and these are going to be rolled out and cut into rounds, and they'll be about 1/4 inch thick probably, and they're quite simple to make and very, very tasty. So the ingredients are 225 grams of cold butter, that's 1 cup or 2 sticks, 230 grams of plain flour, which is 1 3/4 cups, 70 grams of ground rice, or you could use fine semolina, and that's about 1/2 cup, and then 75 grams, which is 1/2 cup plus a tablespoon of icing sugar. I'm also going to be using a teaspoon of diastatic malt powder, because I used it the other day when I tried these and it was very good, but that's not necessary. It's just that I'm going to do that because I liked how they turned out and the flavour that gave. So what I'm going to do is to put all the ingredients into a food processor. I'm actually using the large processor bowler I have with my immersion blender because it works very well. And then I'm going to blitz this until it all comes together into a dough. So that's fairly well mixed. It's not quite come together yet, but I'm going to tip that out onto the work surface, and then I can squeeze that into a dough quite easily. So it's quite easy to pull that into a dough. Like that. And then I could, at this stage, chill that in the fridge, but I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to roll it out straight away, and then I'm going to chill it once it's rolled out and shaped. So I'm going to do it in 2 separate rolls, so to speak, and for that I'm going to flour my work surface because the dough is going to be sticky. and I want to roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch in thickness. As I say, it's quite soft and sticky. And with that rolled out like that, I'm going to cut out some shapes or some circles with a scalloped edge cookie cutter, and this is 2.5 inches, which is I think about 7 centimeters in diameter. And with them rolled and cut like that, I'm going to take a skewer and just make some holes on the top. And I'm going to do it in circles. So I've rolled out 24 shortbread biscuits, and I have this much dough left over, and I'm going to be able to get, I would say, at least another 4 out of that, which I will do later. So these ones, I'm going to put them into the fridge, and I'm going to let them chill for about half an hour, and while they're chilling, I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 Celsius, that's 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And then I'm going to take the biscuits out of the fridge and put them in the oven, and I'm going to bake them for about 12 and up to 15 minutes until they've turned a nice golden colour. And I'll take them out, let them cool on the trays for 2 minutes, and then transfer them to a wire rack to cool completely. Then I'll come back and show you the results. So the shortbread cookies biscuits baked. I baked mine for 15 minutes. I've taken them out of the oven and I've let them cool down, and this is what they look like. Now I've already made these the other day as a test, so I know what they taste like, but I'll have a taste of one now. They are very, very good, and that ground rice gives it that extra sort of crumbly but crunchy texture, and the lovely buttery flavour comes through, and the 75 grams of sugar, so they're not excessively sweet. Very, very good indeed. Now, these are not quite the texture that I want in the Royal Scot version of the biscuits that I mentioned. So I'm going to have to try something else to see if I can get that right, and they're not quite the same colour. The Royal Scots are a darker colour, so I think I might try with some light brown sugar and see what that does instead of icing sugar. But that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it. Oh, let me just say, you don't need, by any stretch of the imagination, you don't need to include diastatic malt powder. I put that in simply for my own benefit. And I don't know that it actually makes much difference to the flavour, and it certainly hasn't done a great deal for the colour. So maybe next time I will leave that out. So I'll put a link for this recipe below the video, and also in the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on which will take you to the recipe. And then I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.